Wood shaking. Dougie Snakes here. I got my friend Dan Fortune. This is probably going to be episode 2 of my podcast, Dougie Snakes Show, Off the Rails, Lord Thunder and Jesus. Many names for it. Dan's here on a special day for me. 2 years sober today.
2 years sober, bro. Unbelievable.
Fucking crazy.
It is crazy. And I got this image of you when you walked into my house, okay? And it's still to this day, it kills me because I think about it. I'm like, Eric's like gone to Cape Breton. I'm actually confident I had COVID at that point in my life.
Did.
I think I did.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm so sick. And then you're rolling through here. And, you show up to our place and it's like you come in with your jacket on, your flat brim hat.
2 sizes too big.
2 sizes too big. And I'm thinking, like, this guy's never going to fucking make it. My first thought is, like, first of all, he's from Waterford.
Yeah,
so,
not good.
Not good. But I think about that dog, and it's just like, how wrong was I? Here you are 2 years sober today. So it's a miracle.
Miracle.
Yeah.
When I flew out, when I left Halifax and I flew here, I remember I was worried about my rent in Halifax because I'm coming to BC, all this stuff, right? I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do?
Yeah.
All just works out, eh?
Yeah, it does.
And it's funny if I talk to anybody, and this isn't a recovery podcast, but I'm a fucking ex-drug addict and alcoholic, so this comes up, right? My thing is like, it's so funny that like when I see somebody and they're like, oh, I got to get out of here and start making money and get my kids back. But it's like, what you're going to do is to lose your kids and not get your job back or lose it and be in worse shape than you were. It's crazy how I'm just was so blessed that I was in a situation. Bro, I stayed in a sobriety house for 18 months.
Yeah.
That's a long fucking time.
Yeah. And for the same for me too, like I stayed at one of TWC's recovery houses for upwards of 14 months.
Yeah.
And the whole time through the whole thing, I came up with all these crazy ideas that I was going to go back to work and I needed to pay my child support and all these stupid little things. But in the end, I stayed true to what was most important to me, and it was staying sober.
No sobriety, no fuck all.
No fuck all, right? So, here I am today, and it's just like, I get to do these things, right? So it's pretty important.
I remember I was talking about this maybe a month sober. I want to get this off the ground or, manifest it. You know what I like the sober house for? And if anybody's like listening to this on wherever they're listening to, I just always think about it. Like, I'm glad I stayed so long. I remember we went on a double date. I think it was around New Year's or something like that. We were at the Cactus Club. Do you remember that?
I do.
And the girl that I was seeing at the time, like, she wasn't a problem drinker, but anyway, I remember she had one drink, and I was never in a bar setting since I got sober. So this is pretty much 11 months sober. Then I'm in this bar. I didn't have any urge or nothing to drink or nothing, but when I fucking left there, I just felt weird. I can't explain it because my mind was just like, "What are you doing here, bro? You were just in a bar. Like, you don't want to go in there and try to get a rail or something going." Like, and that's why when I went home to the sobriety house, it was very nice because I was like in a safe place. So it's just like a pile of dudes that are all fucking lunatics, but it's like we're here doing this together. So I remember when I left there with you, and then I was just like, very thankful for that sobriety house.
Yeah.
And there'd be days where I want to get out of there really quick and all that. But what I'm doing right now, I have my own place. I wanted this since day one, but I know I had to do that. And I hear like Steve-O from Jackass.
Yeah.
And he said he lived in a sober living house for 2 years.
Yeah, I believe it. But that's it, when you're at the end of your rope, when there's nothing else left to do, when you've tried everything else to get sober, if somebody tells you that's what it's going to take, you're ultimately going to listen.
Hopefully.
It depends where you've been at, where your addiction has taken you. For me, it was either this or certain death.
Certain.
And at the end of the day, it was like, so I remember doing these retarded searches at night, like on YouTube and on the internet, like, why can't I stop and what's actually wrong with me? And it's like, when you get into a treatment center and you get to actually get taught what's actually wrong with you, it'll take you a step back and it'll really hold you firm in what you're trying to do at that point, I think, so... and I think that actual dinner setting, remember the girl I actually had with me, she's like, she's ordering like 3 drinks at a time, like, because last call was coming, or it was, they
were only serving liquor till 10.
Yeah.
So they had to get it all in.
Yeah, so
I remember
she was
that.
like, she was ordering drinks for everybody at the table, but they're all just for her.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Unbelievable, right? Yeah. So, she actually reached out to me the other day.
Good.
That particular girl. Yeah.
Good. People ask me, like, I can be around it, I can be around. Listen, this is like I'm fucking home, right? And run into one of my buddies, and he's like, you still sober? I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like a little past 20 months, right? He's like, really good to hear, man. I'm really proud of you. Then he leans in, and he goes, do you want a rail? I started dying, and I hugged him because he was like half kid but half serious.
Yeah.
But I like when people are like that, right? Like that's just for me, right?
Yeah.
And having that much time, I can't be around a personality change. Somebody gets a little huggy, or like wants to start telling me the same story twice and all that.
Yeah.
I can't be around. I can watch anybody do drugs or drink, but I can't when somebody gets a little like when they want to start a fence company with me at 4 a.m. I'm like I think I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, totally. Totally. I agree with that.
So things are good, man. I definitely hit some waves of like ups and downs. I think if they say around 2 years, you kind of get a new body. Like, I don't know, like the actual thing, but I was talking about this before of like 2 years, I kind of like regenerate my whole thing because I haven't touched anything for that amount of time, right? So things bounce back. And how lucky am I that I don't have like, obviously I might have some mental illness and other things, but I don't have anything like, I just had to get out of drugs and alcohol and I can live a pretty good life. Yeah. Because some people get sober and then they still have like schizophrenia or other things to deal with. Yeah. It's a blessing that I don't, for the most part, have any of that going on. No, right?
And we've witnessed it time and time again. People with mental health issues have a way harder battle than us. Mm-hmm. You know, the worst part that I have to deal with today is the fact that, you know, I'm the most selfish person alive. Yes. You know what I mean? And that no matter what, it's all about me, right? Mm. So, you know, if people could see it from the outside looking in like a normal person that's not hooked on drugs, if they could look at me and see what's going through my mind, they think like, this guy's absolutely crazy. Mm. You know what I mean? You're sober, your life is normal, you have a business, and it's like I can create these monsters in my life.
Monsters.
You know, I speed up for speed bumps. You know what I mean? I basically will procrastinate paying my bills with a bank account full of money and then lay in bed at night and stress that my bills aren't paid.
Same.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, that's not normal. Normal people don't do that. So
do dishes, like I'll have like, let's say 7 dirty dishes and I will let that bother me for 16 hours instead of taking 5 minutes to do them. Exactly. And I'll just be like, because I don't know how, because I'm always just like, I don't know. I watch this thing where it's like, do you know how to clean up? And I was like, I don't know how to clean up, but it's like, I don't. No. I don't, and I'm getting better, but it's like, it's so funny how it's like 7 dishes will stress me the fuck out, bro. Yeah. And then I clean them, I'm like, and I don't get it done till 9:30 when I'm supposed to be in bed because I can get ready for work, and I'm like, this feels good, but I let it destroy me all day. Yeah. And then I'll be like, that fucking cocksucker. I'll start like blaming other people. The dishes will get me mad, and then this fucking malady in my head starts working.
Of course.
I start having arguments with people for 10 years ago.
Yeah. You know, and it's also like, you know, the selfish thing, like I can drive down the road and I can listen to gangsta rap music, which I don't even do. And I can fantasize about what people are thinking around me driving by me. You know what I mean?
Big Daddy.
They think how bad I am. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's not realistic.
That is not reality.
No, that's not reality. But I'm still listening to gangsta rap. And like, if anybody else knew me, they'd say like, Dan listens to metal. And he's like, he grew up like a punk rock kid. Yeah. And it's like, I'm listening to gangster rap, fantasizing about what other people think about me, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's like, you know, all of a sudden in my head, I'm this crazy dancer, you know? It's like, you know, it's insane. So.
Yeah, you're a beautiful dancer.
I know, I'm a shuffler. Yeah. I feel like I could just be this amazing shuffler. Yeah. So, yeah.
You get home and start watching YouTube tutorials on it.
I do.
I want to be every like 2 weeks. I'm like, I think I'm going to be that guy.
Yeah.
Every like 2 weeks, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll get a saxophone. Yeah. You know, and this is going to be it. There's going to be pussy coming in from all directions. I'm going to be like, yeah, that's Dougie Snacks. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's over there killing the saxophone. Every 2 weeks, I'm just like, maybe I'll mold into them.
Yeah, my grandma played the saxophone.
Oh, really?
And it was like at a left field one time. All of a sudden, she just like, she's a big churchgoer back home, and then she blew out into the living room with a saxophone. I'm just like,
how old were you?
I was young at this point in my life, you know what I mean? But the fortunes were pretty stern, and like for grandma to be ripping out the saxophone there and banging on it, I was just like, this is fucked. You know?
Yeah. Did she go on for long?
She went on for a while, I believe, yeah.
Did they like let her go, and then it was like, all right, Nan, it's time for bed?
It kind of just went away. Then there was no more saxophone all of a sudden. But maybe she got really good at it secretly. You know? Yeah. I think she may have. So. Yeah,
they're probably like, Nan got really good at it, and then they just put her in a home for 30 years. Yeah, that's probably what happened, right?
Yeah.
I think about situations like that where I think that comes down. I think ADHD is a thing with like. I have a hobby of chasing hobbies.
Yeah.
I have like a hobby of like bro, I fucking love playing music, and I just don't do it.
Yeah.
But when I do it, I'm good at it. For the most part, right? I can get some things going, but that's where I have to put my time, right? Just like anything else, I have to put my time at it, and it like benefits me. I'm not on my phone. I'm like working on something, and I get the head going, and it's kind of like that's why when I'm trying to learn something, it's like not like a me versus me type of thing, but it's for me.
Yeah.
Right. I went and watched some stand up last night, and I was thinking, I said, "Fuck, I had a good time here." And you know what I noticed? Everybody, man, in the crowd wasn't on their phones. I'm not saying no one didn't take a snap and like take a snap, whoever what the stand up comic was doing or whatever, right? But it's like I was present for the whole time, and it's like I'll wake up in the middle of the night and be like, "Oh my god, did somebody comment on this?" Or like I'll have like I need to like that's where I'm at with my phone.
Yeah.
And I find, for hobbies or anything like that, where it's like I'll start playing drums and then I'm like, "Oh, what's this guy doing on TikTok?"
Yeah.
It kind of sucks me away from it. So something that I think awareness is huge, but moving forward, like I've wasted so much goddamn. Do you get your screen time thing? I usually ask people, did you get what kind of phone do you have?
Samsung.
So at the end of every week, it tells me how long I was on my phone every day. And like over the Christmas break, it would be like as a minimum, it's like 6 hours a day. So I think about that. I'm like, imagine if you put 6 hours a day in anything, you would be a fucking master at it.
Of course.
I work and all that, but I'm talking about like 6 hours a day of like willingly, like I need to go to work and pay my bills and do these things, right? But to be on my phone for that amount of time is, I don't know. It could be put other places, right? So it's nice to have some awareness of it. And
I'm the great procrastinator, though. You know.
Yes.
And especially when I have like important things I have to do in order to like get paid.
Yeah.
And I'll sit there and I'll do laps around my fucking office and I'll go over, I'll do a little bit of paperwork and then I'll walk away. And it's like, these are the things that I need to do to get paid. And like, I'll stretch it out 2 or 3 days extra.
Yeah.
But then on the back burner, complain that I'm not paid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think we suffer from self-sabotage.
Oh, absolutely, I do. Yeah.
I notice I like get up and get ready for like not like too much these days, but before I would get up, shower, be ready for work, and lay in bed till I was late.
Yeah.
Because once you start getting away with stuff, it's like I'll just keep doing this.
Yeah.
And then if I'm known as a guy who's just like a little late some days, and he can get a job done, but maybe one a day.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm getting paid the same amount as everybody else. A louse. Being a fucking louse was good.
Yeah.
That self-sabotage thing pops up. This week coming up to my sobriety day was popping up. I get home from work, I'd want to get in bed, get the big fucking the heat pad on, big 90-year-old woman, and then just like shut off from the world. I check my phone and all that, but just getting out of bed to do little things.
Yeah.
Again, I let the dishes drive me nuts. I took me 10 hours to do dishes and work out. I let the dishes soak, start working out. I felt so goddamn good.
Of course.
And the worst part is we know it's going to help. Like, if you had done your paperwork...
Oh, I'd be 10 times the guy.
You'd feel amazing.
Yeah.
But if you got to fucking do it, you got to, like, stay on it, right?
Yeah.
And I'll hit weeks and all that, but I always let things slip. And that's one thing, man, I for the most part, I don't fuck around my recovery too much. But everything else, I never... If you want to get a hold of me, I love you because you just call me. And we don't text.
No.
I'm never like, hey, how's your day going?
Yeah.
I don't mind that, right? I like it in text. But I'm never like, hey, how you feeling? It's like, no. It's like we call me, do a 10-minute check-in, and then it's like, click, and I'm like, good. Because people be like, hey, man, you never watched that video I sent you. I'm not just doing it to them.
No.
It's to everybody.
Yeah.
It's to my goddamn parents, whoever. And it's not even, this isn't like a conscious thing.
No.
I'll like see it. I'll be like, I need to respond to that. Then I don't.
Yeah.
And then as time goes on, I'm like, fuck, I don't get back to anybody. Then I'm like, then when I want to get messaged and no one's messaging me, it's like, well, you don't answer anybody.
Yeah.
Right in self-pity. So I don't know. It's something to look forward to. What for your new year? Any plans? Like, obviously we all have plans, but what do you? Any goals set for yourself?
My biggest goal for me is to probably just try to eat more healthy.
Yeah, that's fucking tough.
The carbs kill me, and I go into this fucking, like, if I eat a shitty lunch, by the time I get back to site, and I have people relying on me to be the leader, right? So when I go back after lunch and I get there, I'm basically ready to shut her down, you know?
I noticed some guy told me, he said, I think it was Niall mentioned it to me, our buddy from Ireland there. He was saying he switched a thing in his head where he eats for health, and I can't make that switch yet. I eat like I want to feel good now.
Yeah.
Bro, I like want to kill myself after some meals. And I'll have like 4 Hot Pockets, and then I gotta go like climb these stairs to a high rise. And as soon as I'm done eating them, I'm like, man, you have to go like do all this hard work now.
Yeah.
And like you said, not want to be there.
I'm almost tempted to like throw up, go purge, and like, you know what I mean. I figured that would make me feel better, you know. But it's like it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. And the worst part about it is that like when I eat these shitty lunches, I know it's bad, but at the time that I'm eating it, I feel so fucking good.
So good.
I'm feeling like, you know what I mean? It's almost like shooting up heroin.
Yes.
And it's like the feeling for me is like instant gratification. You know what I mean? And me and the particular gentleman I have working with me on the day is we're both like pretty hard on one another about the food we eat, but the amount.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like I'm a fucking, you know what I mean? I'm a machine for what I can eat, but then it's like it takes the life out of me. I don't want to do anything after that, you know? And it's like I'll have the big insulin spike and then I'm just fucked. I'm cooked. My brain, and it's like then I'm at risk of injury. You know what I mean? I'm trying to crawl around in a fucking, you know what I mean, some form system or whatever I'm doing, and it's like it's definitely it's playing on me. So one thing for the new year is maybe try to eat a little bit more healthy.
I think I literally said, like the last episode, and that's what I talked about right in the new year. I'm a chameleon too, right? I'm like, let's say if I'm eating good and then me and you were hanging out and you're like, hey, should we go get a couple donuts and a double double? I'm like, I'll co-sign it, right? I'll be the first guy in line. I'll be like, let's go do that. But me and you have also hit spurts where we're like good for like 6-7 months, bro.
Yeah.
And we're killing it. Remember first years out here, what we were doing?
Unbelievable. We'd be out there pumping jail workouts on the back step and going down to the beach for the afternoon. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think about it too. It's just like life was so easy then.
So everyone was locked out. We weren't.
No. I didn't have it.
We were living good, man.
Yeah, I'd be calling you up being like, yeah, I got a job. I need you to come help me for a little while. Everyone would be like, where's Doug going?
Yeah. On the beach, that fucking kids.
100%. Those were the days too, man. And I think about it too, how dirty that fucking beach is, the water. You know,
bro.
Like I was home in the East Coast this summer, and it's just like I see the water home, and it's like that place is like fucking sludge, man.
Sludge.
You could never like dive in that water and open your eyes and be like, go for a nice swim.
Yeah.
You know.
My shorts would have like a film on them. When I get out of the water, we're talking about a beach down in, this is in, if you're listening, and you know, it's based out of Vancouver here, Kids Beach, and like this fucking beach is packed.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking like wall to wall people.
Yeah.
And you know what though? There's not a whole lot of people in the water.
There isn't a whole lot of people in the
water.
water.
For the amount of people that's on, there's people in the water, but not for the people, like people are just there getting sun, right?
Yeah.
I'm going in. But you just see all the tankers like docked, like stuck out there chilling. It's dirty, bro.
It's dirty. It is.
Is Wreck Beach dirty as well?
I think Wreck Beach is around the corner of it all, and it's almost like people would say that it's the dirtiest, but it's like I've been there too when tides change, and it's pretty clean. We've been down there together. Remember that girl threw the beer can at me?
Yeah, holla me out, boys.
Yeah, you guys gonna get naked or what? I'm just like, what the fuck is this lady talking about?
Yeah, go lay down. It's 11 o'clock. You're fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
And put that liquor down.
Yeah, she had like scars all over her.
I know. And listen, God bless her, but don't be coming into my little territory down there.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm at the beach, I ain't going down there to be stressed out. I'll play music down there, right? And I'll have it a little loud. If I hear anybody else with loud music, I'm instantly like, where are they parked?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I get Dan Fortune down there tearing the fucking sides out of their car here.
Yeah.
You know.
But it's like the most, unrecognizable thing about it all would be for me is that like for me to actually get dressed and go to the beach as a recovering drug addict and go back into society and try to stay normal and try to deal with the, you know what I mean? The social anxiety of it all. And you go out there with your little fucking towel and set her up. You know what I mean? All of a sudden you got a garbage bag blowing down the beach and you got to run.
Yeah.
In front of 20 people.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, fuck me, right? There's that split second decision where I'm just going to let the bag go.
Yeah.
But then you got 20 people looking at you, so you got to run for this fucking garbage bag. Okay?
You go viral if you don't get it.
Of course, it's Vancouver. You know what I mean?
You're littering, right?
Your car's leaking a little bit of oil down there, and fucking people are calling the cops on you. They're putting in calls to the city. crying. They got kitty litter out there fucking sprinkling it on the ground.
Yeah, big spill guy.
Yeah.
You know what was a weird feeling for me? Leaving a beach, not on drugs and alcohol. Like when I'd be like walking back to a vehicle, because I always remember I'd be looking at my feet if you're going like on a weird trail or something.
Yeah.
Like leaving a beach. A lot of beaches I've been to in Cape Breton, like there's a trail I get to them wherever I am, right in Inganisher. And then I remember when I first started going to the beach, when I'd be leaving there and I wouldn't be fucked up, my mind would be like, it's like 30 degrees out and you're not drinking and drugging. So it was because my whole time, like I was a little kid, I went to a beach, I wasn't fucked up. But at like 15 or 16, like that was a big thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to the beach and getting honor all day. Maybe go home, have a little shower, change of clothes, and then keep it going. Yeah. You know, so I got the big sunbake on.
Yeah.
Plus the drugs and alcohol. So when I would like start leaving the beach, it was good to have you around because you got more sober time than me, and I would like leave there, and I would be like, it would be good, but it was very strange to be dead sober down there, and especially nice hot day. Crack a little cold one, you know, a little double rum and coke on the beach, a couple rails. Kind of sounds appeasing, right?
We'd go and fucking drive like 2 down airs in, go home at 2 o'clock and sleep till 7. Yeah. You know, it's just, that was like, for me, that'd be like the be all end all.
Yeah.
You know,
but it was this summer I didn't do a whole lot of beaching. I was working with Mike there, doing a bit of landscaping, and I love it, and I have to start making more time for it because I don't even give a fuck about going in there and just laying there. There's something about being by the water that I love, and it's pleasant, man. And we live in a place where we can do it. Because when I'll be in Alberta, we'd be on fucking days off in Edmonton, bro. We'd be dying in a goddamn apartment building. Yeah. Where do you go fucking swimming at in Edmonton? Sickening, eh?
I think about Alberta and it just makes me sick, every aspect of it. You know, I spent so much time there and lost so much of myself, like individually. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Alberta took so much from me, and it's like I think about it, like what would we actually do? Be like playing pool in a fucking 30-degree shitty bar in Forest Lawn. You know what I mean? Hoping to God somebody drops like a $20 bill on the floor. You know what I mean? And I'd immediately go and put it in a VLT or something. Yeah. You know what I mean? Fuck. Fucking Alberta.
Like I love Alberta. It's done. I don't know. It's crazy we have made so much money there, bro. I don't have, because people be like, I would work like 8-9 months out of the year and have nothing. I remember I'd be going back to camp and I'd like needing to lend them money to get a cab back to camp. I'd only be off for 9 days.
Oh yeah.
And I remember my foremans would be like, yeah, man, just maybe go get some Timmy's or something, for the boys, and then I'll get it next week. I'm like, can I get your card? There's like, yeah, you just got paid. I'm like, cool story, bro. But that's gone. You know, that's been gone. That money, right?
Yeah.
And I make big money, spend big money.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Listen, we're gonna take a little break here, and then we'll get back into it. We'll finish our last half.
Perfect.
This podcast is sponsored by lying in bed and not texting back your loved one, friends, or family. Try not texting anyone back for free this year and watch how the isolation rains in on you and your mental health. And for a limited time, try not doing the dishes or laundry. Let them pile up and get the best of you and send you spiraling into a deeper, more in-depth personal hell.
Okay, guys, welcome back. I am sitting here with my friend Dan Fortune. As always, I'm Dougie Snakes. Yeah, so we were just having a little discussion earlier about recovery and what you want to do in the new year, eating right, all that stuff. I got a question for you, Dan. If you, what would be like what's a dream job for if you like, it can be fun, I don't care. What do you think? Do you want to just like, is your dream? I know you're kind of living a dream of like you're kind of running your own business right now.
Yeah.
But if you could do anything right now, did you have any ideas what you'd like to do?
I basically, like, so I had my first child so young.
How old were you when you had your first kid?
I was 17 years old.
Was the kid born when you were 17?
17, yeah. Yeah.
That's young.
So summer of grade 11 going to grade 12.
You had your first kid?
Yeah, well, no, the baby was born in July.
Jesus.
So instead of going to grade 12, my parents were like, you know, you're going to go to Alberta and work in the oil and gas industry. And I didn't really know what that was. I was like, okay, sure, well, that's all fine and dandy. But through my life experiences, you know, I just naturally, I was always a leader, Dougie, you know. Unfortunately, the drugs took that over and I became this fucking desperate person. But I always wanted to run my own business. That basically, I'm kind of like living out my dream right now, you know. It's just for how I grew up and the scruples that I was taught and what I was given in my life. And, you know, other than that, like, what could I say? Like, you know, I'm the great procrastinator.
Yeah.
You know, I don't, there, if I wanted to actually be doing it, I would be, you know, so I don't.
I think we're hard on it. Like, I think sometimes I'm not doing enough. And then, like, you were talking about starting your own business, man, when I met you, and you weren't at the time.
No.
But you are.
Yeah.
And bro, this is literally 2 years today I've been out here.
Yeah.
But you've already been doing this for a little. We're fucking hard on ourselves.
Oh yeah, totally hard on myself. But it's like, you know, what else could I basically want to be doing in my life? You know what I mean? I couldn't even begin to dream up a lie to say what else I'd want to be doing. You know,
well, like I think that's awesome.
And I've pursued this for so long. You know what I mean? So, you know, everything that I've done up in my life, I believe, has been leading up to this point where I'm at in my life. You know what I mean? All the experiences that I've had in Alberta and in Toronto, and it's all snowballed into what I'm actually doing right now. So this is the path I've been on, and I'm truly living it out, you know. But there's an intelligent man in our lives, you know him as well as I do. You know what I mean? He told us early recovery. He said, be careful. You're going to get it.
Yeah.
You're going to get what you want. You know what I mean? And then what are you going to do?
And then what are you going to do?
You know,
That's a big thing.
So now I'm sitting here at this point in my life where I've gotten exactly what I wanted. You know what I mean? And it's a whole different kind of stress, right? Like you can say whatever you want to, but it's like I fantasize about money, I fantasize about success, and you know what I mean? What I am, what people view me as, and exactly how you perceive me, right? I'll never see me through your eyes. Right?
I know.
You know, and it's like I can do all these other things in my life to try to get to my self-image, but I'll never actually achieve that, you know. But maybe but that's only through my eyes. You're seeing me for what I've achieved in my life, and you know what I mean? I've done that, you know. So the whole addiction thing that will play into that, and what we suffer from more than the substance abuse and more than the other things in our life, these are the things that will take us back out, right? You know.
That's what, and when we say take back out, we mean getting back on, going back and drinking and drugging. And that's the thing. It's like you're gonna get whatever you want in this life. It won't make you happy.
No.
But that's just to a degree. So I definitely noticed that everything I have now was a fantasy 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And now I have it. I'm like, well, now I'd like to have bigger rims on the car.
Oh yeah.
Now I'd like to have a better studio here. I always want more. But you know what I kind of want to go back into? When you had this kid, right?
Yeah.
When you were 17, how many months in was the lady when you first found out? Like, was she like 2 months and you found out?
Oh no, it was traumatic for me. So it was like it was a one night stand in high school, right?
A one night stand, okay.
So you know what I mean. And this chick was like supposed to come over to my house, and you know what I mean. We're gonna do the dirty, and she supplied the condom, and it was all a real fucked up situation. So it's like, you know, seconds before I'm about to bust, and her fucking dad calls her on the phone, and he's like, "Where are you? You're late. You should be home right now." And she looked at me dead straight up, and she was like, "You know, we should stop." And I'm like, you know what I mean? This is my first time.
Yeah.
I'm a virgin, bro.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm so super close. We're gonna seal the deal here. And I'll never forget the feeling of the condom actually breaking. You know what I mean? Like I was backed up with a load that could shampoo a small pony. Like I blew right through that thing. You know what I mean? And I remember the feeling of it breaking and being like, and she looked right at me dead serious, and she was like, "I'm pregnant." And I was like, "Oh my God, you're pregnant!" Like, I didn't think it was real.
Yeah.
You know? And then ultimately it ended up being real, you know?
Did you hide it from your parents at all in the beginning?
No, I instantly, like me and my mother.
You're close.
We're pretty thick, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So when the girl left, I went up to my mother and I was like, "Listen, Ma," I was like, "I did something real bad tonight." She's like, "Holy fuck, Daniel, what did you do?" You know, she knew me pretty well, right? So
Yeah.
I was like, "No, I had sex tonight." And she's like, "Holy fuck." She's
I
like,
don't need to
wanna
hear that.
I don't want to fucking hear that.
Yeah.
I was like, "No, it gets way worse." I was like, "The condom broke." And she looked at me dead serious, and she's like, "Well, I guess you're having a kid." And it was like,
It's your first time ever having sex.
yeah. And I was like, "Holy fuck, man." I was like, "This is fucked." So like leading up to that, now I had to go back to school while this girl was pregnant in school. You know what I mean? In high
That's
school.
grade 11?
Yeah, I was in grade 11. She's a grade 10. So I'm like, fuck this fucking, she wanted to be like on this warpath right? You know, and it was really weird, and the whole situation was fucked. Like, girls would be like, her friend group, they were like the Skids, right? So they hung downstairs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were the downstairs crew. We would hang up in the middle floors, but it's just like, I'd come into school in the morning, and they'd be all like spitting on me, and they'd be like, you fucking loser. And I'm like, holy fuck. You know what I mean? It was terrible, man. Going to high school, having a teenage pregnancy, and then like even then, like, you know, being in like classes like Palcom, and like we're doing like teenage pregnancy, and everybody in the classroom is just looking at me. You know what I mean? I'm just like, holy fuck.
Exhibit A.
Like, my fucking life is over. I just remember thinking, like, my life.
Did you think it was done?
I thought it was done. I thought it was over. And like at this point in my life, like, you know what I mean? We were already like fully immersed in drug addiction.
Yeah.
You know, like high school was bad at that point in time in the East Coast. Like drugs were everywhere.
Oxys were just big. Were they big or getting big?
It was big. It was a big deal then.
What year is this? Probably 2003,
2004.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah. Yeah. But anyway, so like moving forward, I ended up moving this lady out to Calgary with me, you know, doing the right thing, and, you know, life went on at that point, but it was just like the drug addiction played so much into what I had ended up being and doing and becoming, you know what I mean? The stresses of life and trying to be a young dad and work the oil patch and all these things, you know what I mean? God bless that girl and God bless those kids, you know what I mean? It's just like for what I had to put them through, you know, it was unacceptable. You know, I have to live with that on a daily basis, right? So, you know.
That's what... When I talked about it, I made a little TikTok, right, about my 2-year sobriety, and just if you're struggling out there, right, and that's the thing. It's like just because I'm 2 years sober doesn't mean all that damage I've done and everyone's life has gone away. Like, and that doesn't mean like I expect it to go. Like, I've fucking caused some serious harm out there, right?
Yeah.
And I ain't never gonna get into detail about it, but the harms that I have caused, it's like just because I'm off drugs and alcohol. You know, it's not, oh, okay, that doesn't matter. It's like, no, man, you've scarred people for their whole lives, and I've scarred myself for my whole life, right? So I just do things now to deal with it. And the life I lead now, I'm out there, I mean, I try not to cause any more harm. It's easier said than done, right? But I monitor myself, but that is like having a kid young, which I have never done. I have a kid now, was like a fear of mine. Yeah. I never wanted to have a kid young.
Well, I think that, you know, and too, like, your higher power is only going to grant you with what you can handle in life.
You think, eh?
Yeah. Like,
and that's how I perceive mine.
You know what I mean? Like, so maybe it would be the end of the world for you, but ultimately it was, like, probably my saving grace.
Yeah.
You know, moving forward. But, like, my addiction took me to crazy fucking places, bro. Like, you know, after the oil collapse, I ended up out in Toronto for 3 years. Like, the places that I went there were, like, fucking insane. Like,
Toronto's a different world, eh?
Toronto's like
I've
fucking
never really
New York City, man. Like,
it is,
you know what I mean? Like, I'd be fucking putting myself in situations where, like, you know what I mean? I got this one image of my life where it's like, you know what I mean? There's all these fucking people around me. They're in a biker group, we won't say, but they're like, you know, and this one fucking guy's like, what are you doing over there? I'm fucking smoking heroin, right? And it's like, give me one. And I'm like, no, man. Like, and this other fucking Jamaican's telling me, he's like, Dan, don't you fucking give him that, bro.
If he drops, it'll be nice now.
You know what I mean? So then I fucking end up giving him one, bro. And everyone's gone. And I fucking go to the fucking local pub for a fucking, for some more off sales. I come back, this guy's dead on the floor. You know what I mean?
And that's like, I don't want to like take away from that situation, but that's like the kind of chaos that like goes on. And, and that's why when you're like sober and like, I'm not trying to take, I'm just saying it's fucking insane.
It's insane.
The going ons, right?
Yeah.
Did you, like, when you're in those situations, something crazy like that, like, would you even give a fuck?
No.
Yeah, that's the thing. No. So you don't even give a fuck.
No, I didn't give a fuck. More or less, just the selfishness of my own self, right?
Yes.
You know what I mean? I was like, oh my God, like, I can't believe that happened, or, you know what I mean? And I just remember, like, going to the liquor store and coming back and seeing this, like, a double freezer bag of meth on the floor, and he must have been trying to like shoot meth to bring himself out of it.
Take him out of it.
Never seen a bag of meth that big in my life. You know what I mean? So I'm just like fucking pieced out of here. And like when I subjected myself to these people in the fucking projects of Toronto, it's like I think about it and it's like they'd all be there with guns and shit, and I'm thinking like, I'm just this little fucking Cape Bretoner. Like, how did I even get here?
Yeah.
Or how am I even involved with these fucking people?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just that's where addiction will take you further and further down the fucking road, right? You know, until unfortunately you either fucking you get killed or you overdose.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like I had God in my life. You know, I got this huge family in the East Coast, and you know what I mean, that always fucking say they were praying for me, right? And you know, I'd be like, fucking praying for me, you know what I mean? Like, what are you praying for? You know, I was just on this fucking shitty path, and you know, ultimately I believe it saved me, man. You know?
I would have to agree. And when you talk about your higher power, like I believe in something, you talked about all your situations leading you here, man. I had a little reflection today, and I was thinking about all the crazy shit I've been through, all like the little pieces of crime I was involved here and there,
Yeah.
man, all this shady stuff. And it's like so funny how it's like, so like when I went to treatment, it's like all that shit, man, like just like, and like being in camp the whole time. And then I was in the services. So I was like built for rehab. And I don't mean like that's why I'm here on earth, but like when I went there, I was just like, is this what I have to do? And then today I'm reflecting and I'm thinking like, all this shit has just been like lead me to like, I just feel it. I just feel I'm on a good path, right?
Yep.
And you know, I got a lot of these crazy stories, and I don't mind sharing them. And I'm not saying like I don't want to glorify them, right? Because bro, some of that stuff I have, I'm like, I can't believe that's even a story. It doesn't sound real. But at the same time, they happen to me.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm not going to talk about them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I very fortunate. And I think of my brother, man, and he would like see me every now and then. We'd come to like a days off together in Alberta.
Yeah.
And he kind of seen like the way I was living. I just remember him being. He told me when I got sober, he's like, I think you'd be dead by now if you weren't sober. And like I kind of laughed, but I also like didn't really take into account like, if that was him out there doing that, I'd be worried about him.
Of course.
I'd be thinking about him a lot, and it's crazy. I think, and I'm glad like I was never in a place like Toronto, and I usually would just like. I'd either camp or like dead broke, stretching out a box of craft dinner in the water for Cape Breton, right?
Yeah.
But Toronto, like you said, there's places you can't even go there.
No, but I would go there.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And I'd be like the only white boy there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, how did I ever survive it? You know? I just basically on personality and the fact that it's like, you know, I would always have a job and I'd always be working for somebody who always needed more workers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'd be like, you guys need a fucking job?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And of course, 9 or 10 of them would be like fucking behind on their bill.
Let's get some paper going.
They're going to get a fucking couple days work in, re-up,
Yeah.
and it's going to be fucking crack rocks and fucking Hennessy.
Yeah.
You know?
We're laughing.
It's crazy, right? Like, and I think that's what saved me, you know what I mean? Just, generally, I would, you know, I would always work no matter what.
That's the same. I always had I'd be like, I'd have some EI trouble sometimes where I couldn't get a flight job, like the perfect flight job. So I would like go broke trying to get the perfect one.
Yeah.
But like on on month 8 or 9 of Pogie, I'm like, I will go fucking break rocks in Alberta.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
So you worked the whole time, eh?
Always, through my whole addiction, I always had to work, right? And it was like, you can't even imagine, like, so, you know, working all day. Say if I wasn't lucky enough to have a job as a carpenter at the time or whatever I was doing, say maybe I'd lay brick. You know what I mean? That's such a labor-intensive job. So there'd be 2 days of the week where I'd have to work sick, you know?
And dope sick.
And I mean, like, going through extreme withdrawal, right? Like, you're not fucking... It's not like you're having a great day out there,
No.
you know? So... And I would do that, like, and I'd wait till the end of the day, and I reflect back on it as being this fucking scumbag where I'd be like waiting for the boss to come around, and I'd be like, listen, man, I need an advance. And these fuckers, these Italians in Toronto were paying me fucking $3,000 a week cash.
And you still needed an advance.
I couldn't make it a week, bro.
Yeah.
I needed an advance on Wednesday, and they'd be like, we just paid you $3,000. And these people were so good to me, man. Like, so good to me. I'd be like, I need $500 right now and your truck for an hour, or I'm quitting. And they'd be like, well, we can't lose them.
Yeah.
Here's the keys.
There you go.
Here's $500. You know, it's crazy.
And it's been cold here last week, right? So back to that, we're in the Vancouver, Burnaby area. It's been like -10 here. We had a phone call, I think, last week, right?
Yeah.
It's been -10 here at the most. I'm thinking, how the fuck did me and you work in Alberta in like -40, -50, right? And I'd be like dope sick on some of them jobs, bro. I remember I'd be like in Iraq, which is like things that the pipe goes on in the oil sands. And I'd be like elevated in the air, man, with -40, like not in a hurry, no heat, dope sick. And how the fuck did I do that?
It's just like last weekend, I was out to see my daughter in Quesnel, and it was -31 when I showed up there. And I got out of the truck, and I was like, fucking -31. How did I ever get out of bed in the morning? You would lay awake all night in your camp bed in withdrawal.
Withdrawal.
You know what I mean? Camp would be dry, or you'd be in some town, you'd be dry. And you'd wake up and you'd be like, fucking, you'd get out in the morning. Everybody's so chipper. These cocksuckers.
I used to hate that.
They're making fucking $250K a year, saving money.
Saving money.
Quality of life. You know what I mean?
Boat, house, family, all of it. Fuck
you know,
them.
hey, buddy, how's it going this morning? And I'd just be like, gray. And I'd be like, fucking, you know what I mean? Who am I going to ask for money this morning? Or who's going to fucking help me out, right? You know? But the fucking crazy thing is like where there's a will, there's a way. The force I would have that I needed drugs that badly, you know, there was always a way to get them. That's the shitty part, right?
Yeah.
You know, and that's the fucking disgusting thing about it, because you'd always maintain, or you'd always find something, or, you know, that'd be hard. But -31, I felt it on my skin, and I was like, how did I ever get out of bed in the morning on no sleep and go to work completely in withdrawal all day, and nobody be like, you know, are you okay, buddy?
Yeah.
You know?
He'd be suffering. I work with this guy, you know what he told me? And this guy's sober too, right? He said, you could take the last Oxy 80s, right? You could take the last 100 of them and put them up in the sky, in the atmosphere, right? We would figure out how to get there.
Oh, for
like,
sure.
we would like, and I'm not even trying to be funny, like, you know, I get grade 10 math, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's me going to get work, but whatever the fuck I'd have to do, we get up there and get them. And it might not be today, but tomorrow, whatever. Whatever we got to do, we'd be able to get up in the sky and get them.
Yeah.
And I think about, I remember I was smoking heroin all week on my days off, right? And then I get back to camp, and I remember I was on night shift, and my buddy see me, and my buddy looks at me, he goes, you're fucking gray, bro. And I was like, what? He's like, you're fucking gray. And I'm like, well, I'm not that bad, right?
Yeah.
I never used to know. No. I didn't think I'd be that bad looking, right? But I remember before I got on the plane, some girl, the flight attendant, she was like, sir, are you okay?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are these people talking about?
Exactly. I feel great.
Like, I feel great. What are you going on about? I had the onesie zip up coveralls, right? The insulated ones. I remember it was only like -4. Bro, I was shivering. Because I was dope sick. I had 2 pairs of long johns on, all that stuff, right? And I remember that's the first time I ever remember being dope sick. And to anybody listening or watching, there's a thing that happens when you're dope sick that you get restless legs.
Yeah.
I don't know what your demon was. The insomnia was the worst for me at the end, but restless legs were the absolute worst thing that I've ever went through. I've been through like a lot of bad situations. Restless legs was #1 the worst.
Yeah.
Cannot get comfy, man. And it's like, I need to stretch, but stretching don't work. It's fucking. You ever go through that?
I got the restless legs for sure, but the shits would be the worst for me.
For
man.
you?
Oh, God. It'd be like there's a rat in my stomach trying to claw its way out, you know, and it's just like so bad, like, and it's just like not going away. So you'd be at work, like you said, you got your fucking one-piece coveys on, and you got to go climb down from wherever you're working, and then everybody's noticing, like, you got to shit again? What's wrong with you?
Again.
And then it's like, you know what I mean? I got the flu, but then you bounce back, you find something that night in camp, you show up in the morning, ready to go, couple Red Bulls, you know, life is good. Think about it, how pathetic I was. It's just like, holy fuck, you know, and nobody would ever say anything.
No.
You know what I mean? They'd never, because I tried to maintain to be a good worker no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, so it was like, you know, I would never lose face. My pride and my ego, they were these fucking monsters inside of me that would like drive me to death.
Yeah.
You know, so the fact of it is like, you know, you show up in the morning good to go, and they're like, oh, you were pretty sick yesterday. I'd be like, yeah. You know what I mean? But then 2 days later, you're sick again, right?
Funny. That's why you told the stagger shifts. Somebody come in, I need you on this one.
Yeah.
That's what prescription pills. There'd only be so many of them around.
Yeah.
And like, if they were around and I had money, I remember I'd gather up, man. But I used to hate, because I'd be fucking nice to people that were dope sick.
Of course.
But I'd never get it in return.
Never.
I'd be like dying and be like, bro, I will give you $80 for half that perk. They'd be like, nah, bro, I need it. And I'd be like, you fucking cocksucker.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to get real greasy or dirty, but, you know, I think about it now, and I don't gotta live that way. And like, my biggest problems is just like eating right Or like I'm literally like, oh, I gotta go get groceries today.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck. Or I gotta do laundry. I never did laundry for like 4 years, bro.
I know. The fucking great procrastination, like I say, man, you know, I'll procrastinate over things for hours and you know what I mean? And it's like, these are things that like normal people just go and do. You know what I mean? And I'd rather just lay in my bed and just think about it until it's like I got the fucking anxiety that's crushing my soul, and then maybe I'll go half-ass do one part of it and then hate myself for the rest of the night, you know?
I get the big hate on a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But I think all these stories, man, and, you know, I don't know how we're alive.
I managed to start a business from nothing. You know what I mean?
Came out here with a t-shirt.
Came out here. I'm like Bart Simpson showing up to the fucking meetings for like, the way I perceive myself and how I want people to perceive me, for me to continuously show up to these meetings in a blue fucking t-shirt and a pair of skinny jeans, bro. I was like, fuck, and like dirty sneakers on. Like, these things killed me, right? Mm-hmm. And I had to keep going to AA, and I had to keep showing up, and had to, you know what I mean? Eventually I had gotten a fucking little job and, you know, grew into what I am today. And it was like, you know, just you know, I can't lose sight of what got me to where I am today. But it's like, you know, being sober is not easy.
No.
You know, my emotional sobriety is what's hard today.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Dealing with my emotions is like the most difficult thing I can now, right? So I remember one of the counselors, you know, his big claim to fame would be he'd stub his toe and he'd say cocaine, he'd throw the fucking markers. And it's like, but it's like, that's not where I go today. But it's like, I can very easily go on a very negative downward spiral if I think of anything like, so, I don't know, if anything happens to me, if I get cut off in traffic, let's say.
Traffic's bad.
You know, I could fucking be if I'm hungry, I'm overworked, and I just got cut off in traffic, for a split second, I'm thinking like, fuck, I could go drink, or I could go do something. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But then what AA has given me is the fact that I can recognize that today. Mm-hmm. You know, I used to fucking just be gone.
Well, that's what it's like. I see a counselor once a month, right? And he straight up tells me, like, because I've seen him for like a while now, and I don't have a whole lot to talk to him about. And no. I'm not fixed, or like, I'll never be fixed. I'm not trying to get fixed, no. Right? It's in my nature to be a fucking psycho. Yeah. But the thing is like, he says it himself. He's like, when I work with guys in recovery, it's good because you guys are always trying to work on yourselves. Yeah. And that's like a thing where every day I'm like, where am I at? How am I feeling, right? And I try to, it's not every day, but before I go out the door, I'm like, what do I got on the go today? I think about what I got to go in the day, right? And it's funny because it always comes down to me. So it's like, when I'm like mad at somebody, it's like, that's in line at Tim Hortons. It's because I didn't leave early enough. I could have fucking left the house 20 minutes ago, but I laid in bed on fucking social media and made myself late, right? Or like, I didn't leave work on the right time, or I didn't get gas the night before. It's like these little things that set me up to be resentful, right? Yeah. But we're almost out of time here, Dan. If you want to, did you want to plug anything with your construction business, or do you want to do anything like that, or we'll leave it at that?
I'll just leave it at that. You know, I'm busy enough as it is.
That's right.
I appreciate the offer.
2022, I got Dan Fortune here. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, Dougie.
Okay, rock and roll, man.